Welcome to the Lost Lionesses series. I'm Darcy Slater and today I'm joined by Chris Lockwood and Gill Sayell. This episode we're going to be looking at returning from the competition and the rise of women's football. We've spoken to Jan and we've spoken to Leah about before the competition and during the competition, but I wanted to talk to you a bit about afterwards. So what was it like going back to school after you just spent a summer in Mexico representing your country?
Is that to me or Chris?
Everyone.
Okay, well, I'll start. When we came back from Mexico, we just thought this is where women's football's going now. It was such a major event. It was well received. Everybody loved it. We came back to absolutely nothing, and we came back to a ban. And when we went back to school, as you say, it was in the summer holidays. We were still at school. There was no mention whatsoever in assembly. There's a few kids knew I went. My best friend Jim, who I used to play football with anyway, asked me how it went. And you think that you go back to school and they say, write an essay on what you did during the holidays, say, or something. And, what a story mine would have been to say, I went to Mexico City, played in the Azteca Stadium in front of 95,000 people in a Women's World Cup. But that story never got told. That story was never mentioned or even repeated, really, for another 47 years, basically. So it was kind of pretty much shut down. And any newspaper clippings from English newspapers were pretty ridiculed of the women's game. So yeah, it went totally flat, and it made us feel like we'd done something wrong, which as 14 15-year-olds, it's quite hard to take, so you just didn't talk about it. My experience of it.
Yeah, same as Gill, and it was interesting that the three of us at school were at different schools, and we were treated the same in the fact that nobody mentioned it. So it seems like something was going on within the circles regarding women's football. But at the time, just like Gill said, the boys we played football with, they were all supportive, but yeah, schools weren't. So yeah.
And you said, Gill, that you didn't really speak about it for 47 years. So what was it like when you actually finally spoke to people about it and shared like what you had done in the summer of 71?
It was great that we had people that wanted to know about it. I think that's the difference. We started out, Chris, Leah and I, mainly Chris and Leah to start with, to find the team, to find the 14. And that was really what we wanted to do, to see where our lives had gone and how we all were and if we were all still here, basically. So that was sort of just amongst ourselves. But from that, word got out and we realised people did want to know about it now. And I think a shame it didn't happen all those years ago, but I think the timing maybe was right, that it is a place in history now and people want to know and hadn't heard of it. And we were quite amazed at how many people were interested in the story, because we'd kept it, even our teammates didn't even know, we played on. Teammates didn't know about Mexico. My daughter didn't know about Mexico. I say it was probably maybe a relief, but it was just so nice that people were taking it seriously and wanted to know the story.
And how old was your daughter when she found out?
32. Yeah.
What were you like with your family, Chris? Were you quite open about it? I mean, your niece has written the Lost Lionesses play.
Yeah, she has. Obviously, because we were young, our families had to give permission for us to go, because I was only 15 and Gill was 14, Leah was 13. So, and thankfully for us, our parents were all for it. So they did know, but when you come home and there's no media coverage and you tell them certain things, it doesn't sink in. And it wasn't actually until Copper 71 film that my sister saw the enormity of it, because she was 9 when I went, and it shook her. It really shook her, yeah, that we'd kept that to ourselves all this time. And of course, she had spoken to my niece about things, and my niece was at school, and she told the story, and they thought she was fabricating it because she was into drama, and the teacher thought she was fabricating it, and women's football didn't exist. So she was shouted down, basically. Well, sort of shut down, shall I say. And yeah, she was. So when our story did start coming out, she was passionate to. She decided to write a play, even though it was her first play. She's not a playwright, but she is now. And yeah, so yeah, it's marvellous, really, what the story has done for other people. Yeah, definitely.
And I think I speak to my teachers about it, I speak to my peers about it, and they don't really have an interest in football, but I think it's the fact that you were shut down. I think it's become a lot of a feminist story alongside a football story.
Yes,
Definitely, yeah.
But so your captain, Carol Wilson, when she got back, she went to Newcastle Football Ground and she was laughed at by a large group of people. Is that something that you would face, or was it just complete silence?
Do you want to go first, Gill? Yes, we'll
No,
do it that way.
right,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I'll give you time to think. But I surrounded myself with people that loved football, so I was quite all right about it. I heard all the misogyny going on, but I just shut my mind off to it. I was happy in my life. I do think now, when I look back, being ignored from coming back from Mexico like that, I didn't take football as seriously anymore. I just loved the game, but I didn't, you've got to remember I was 15. I come back, I started a job. I started going to London. I like music. David Bowie came along. I was happy. So there was other things going on in my life. And, but I never thought, I just, psychologically now, I think I just played football because I loved it. I didn't see me going anywhere because they'd already shut me down, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Mine's similar to Chris. Yeah, we kind of ignored all the misogynistic remarks and everything. I was just a different person when I was on the pitch. I was quite a quiet person off of the pitch, to be honest. But on the pitch, it's just a different story. You come alive. It was just, I loved every sport, but football was my main sport. And just to say, as we said earlier, the local lads we played with were fine with it. They didn't, they embraced us playing, we were good players. So yeah, you do ignore it because it's something you love to do. So you just carried on and did it, regardless of any remarks that people might say. And I just loved the game and just carried on playing regardless of anything. Yeah, it wasn't going to stop me from doing it, for sure.
And we've now seen the rise of women's football with the Euros, with the World Cup, and now with having the Euros this summer as well. What do you think about the country having this massive wake-up call to women's football? Is this something that obviously it's something that you like to see, but do you think you're a bit jealous of it because it could have happened 50 years ago?
That is a question that we are asked quite a bit, actually. Are we jealous of today's girls and the opportunities they have? But personally, and I think Chris might be the same, that no, we're not jealous. We had great time playing. That's all we knew anyway. We didn't know where this was going to go. We hoped it's where it is now, but we realistically we couldn't see that at the time. So yeah, I mean, we're not jealous. We're just so pleased that it's accepted like it is now, and you see young girls proudly wearing a football kit, and they've got girl idols as well, women idols, footballers that they can look up to, whereas we only had men idols, which was great, but that was what it was at the time. So no, we're not jealous. We're just so pleased, and it's great to see it growing all the time. Still a way to go, but yeah, it's amazing how it has grown since 22, really, from the Euros, the girls winning the Euros. So yeah, all behind it.
Yeah, yeah, Jill's right. Exactly, feel the same. And the saddest part is it's took so long from our experience out there and what had happened. So I'm over the moon for the girls of today, and hope it continues and make pathways and everything. My sadness is for the wilderness before and in between. We played in the Aztec Stadium. We had that moment, but a lot of women had nothing, absolutely nothing, because and they were good. Some of them were brilliant and didn't have anything. So now it's here and it's been well supported, and yeah, long may it continue.
One of the things that Harry Batts said when he got back from Mexico is that there would be an Arsenal women, a Chelsea women, and a Liverpool women. How happy do you think he would be to sort of see the growth of the game and to see what he said was going to happen all along?
Yeah, that's a great quote, actually. And unfortunately, Harry didn't get to see his words come true. And I am proud of the fact that I was a founder member of the women's Arsenal team, and I was one of Harry's team. So, you know, that story just carried on through to today. And yeah, that's the kind of guy he was. You know, he was visionary. He had that sight. He could see how great the women's game could be, but nobody was listening. Nobody wanted to include him in it. So he would have been, you know, had he been allowed to carry on, this would have happened sooner, I'm sure. But it did happen. So yeah, his words rang true. Just sad that he passed before just 2 years before Arsenal were formed. So, but yeah, he knew what could happen.
Yeah, like Jill said, he knew he had a lot of vision, and he knew what he would have loved for the women's game. And I do think if he'd have been able to be involved more, it might have come sooner than it actually did. But nevertheless, it's here now, and it's going from strength to strength. We just need, obviously, more investment. We don't just want 3 or 4 teams fighting for the title every year, but it's going the right way, yeah.
And we're seeing at the moment records being broken in the women's game. Is it only up from here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's year upon year it is growing. The tier of women's football hopefully is filtering down, you know, from the WSL Championship and you know, and getting below. And it's sport for all. Sport is getting into the schools more, whereas we didn't have that. You know, there's so many steps forward in the game. Still a lot to go, as Chris said. But yeah, it's great to see it's still building, and say record crowds being broken year upon year now. It's just great.
Yeah, it can only just keep going. We've all got to support it in some way. It doesn't matter what. The interest is the most important thing. We've got social media now, so it's not so hard to shut the women away as it used to be. And yeah, and grassroots struggle, of course, but I think in football in general, grassroots struggle, and we need to get some money filtered down some way to help that. Yeah.
Can I just add? Sorry, can I just add that I was talking to a group of girls from Aylesbury at the school I used to go to, Mandeville, And there's some good little players there, and they're even saying now that they still don't have changing rooms at some of the grounds at the places they play, which I found really amazing, really, because it's growing, but that side of it's still not there. The changing rooms might be unlocked for the boys, but when it comes to the girls, even though they paid for a pitch, they changing rooms are locked. They have to come changed in the kit, go home messy in the kit or freezing cold and wet. So yeah, it's Chris is saying, it's got to filter down, and if pitches are being supplied, then the facilities have got to be there, the basic facilities for the girls. So there's still that difference in it. Yeah, still a bit of an inequality in it.
But I think that's one of the main things since 2022, because I started playing in 2019. That's when my football club was founded at my primary school. But before that, we didn't have anything. We didn't have a girls' team. We didn't really have girls playing at lunchtime, at break time, or anything like that. So it's just the small things to get girls playing. They don't have to play professionally, but it's just enjoying the game and having everybody get to play.
That's exactly it, and that's what the girls I spoke to the other day. That they're enjoying what they're doing, but just to have basic facilities would be nice. And that's quite amazing that it's just that short time ago that it started to happen. It's still happening now. It's still taking its time. It's still not there, but it's made amazing strides. But you're still hearing stories like that one you've just mentioned, and the one I've mentioned, that it's still not happening across the board, really. As you go lower down the tiers.
Yeah, I mean, we can all have dreams, but the most important thing is to have those dreams when you're playing. But what playing gives you, and the camaraderie and the confidence and the support is brilliant, but you don't realise that at the time. But when you look back, that's what it gives you, yeah.
I spoke to Jan and Leah, and they said that they've got to meet the Lionesses. Is this something that you've had the pleasure of doing? And if so, what was it like?
Yeah, we did. When they came back with the Euros trophy, actually before the Euros, we did a presentation, Chris, Leah and I, to the girls, and was that the Arnold Clark Cup before that?
Yeah, up in somewhere in near County Durham, that way, wasn't it? I can't remember the way. Rockcliffe Hall. Yeah, we went.
Yeah. We gave a presentation and told our story, and they were amazed, because they hadn't heard it. And Serena Wiegman was quite adamant that they know the history, where they're privileged to be where they are, really, and it's the girls and women players before them that to thank. We don't really look at it like that, but it's nice that they know the history now, and they're making history themselves, so it continues on. But yeah, to be in front of all the girls, and they're amazing athletes. They've got everything that they could want, really, at that level now. It was just lovely to be invited to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, the contrast now is amazing. They've got all the support. They're super fit. It's not like catching two buses to do a bit of a kickabout.
Yeah.
It's proper. It's changed beyond rounds, and all for the better. It just took, as I say, it just took so long. But the girls in this team are just like we were in their. In their soul, shall we say? I don't know, but that's what football gives you. And I mean, we were arguing who was going to sign the books. They wanted our signatures, we wanted theirs, and but there's no superiority. They're just grounded, really great athletes, grounded girls, fantastic. Yeah.
You mentioned just then, Gill, that they sort of look up to you and that everything they have now is because of what you've done in the past. Do you see yourself as a lioness, or did you see yourself as a lioness before, and do you see yourself as one now?
That's the question. They call us the Lost Lionesses, and we did play for our country. It's hard to think of us as the Lionesses because we're not. I don't know. Chris might be able to answer that one better than I. But yeah, it's nice that they think of us like that. It is nice that we are recognised now after all these years. It's nice to that people know the story and know. Yeah, we were part of the history. We're not the history. We are part of it. And like Chris said, also there's a lot of women that were in the wilderness that were great women players. So it's everyone included up until today, really. But yeah, to be spoken of in that in the same bracket as a lioness is a nice feeling.
Yeah. I you know, as time goes on and we're talking about it, I do realise, and I've stopped doing it, that they call us unofficial because they don't want to recognise us, and so I try not to, and I try to correct people when they call us unofficial, because we were before FIFA, and there was nothing official anyway. So why do they call us unofficial? And it's just really to discredit that side of football. You know, the fact that we were the genesis that got them moving, even though they moved very slowly. They formed an England team in '72 and they moved, but they just moved like a snail. And it wasn't until very recently that funding and things like that became available. And yeah, it's moving along now. But yeah, I'm very happy with the name Lost Lionesses because it was given to us with love from Ian Youngs, who did the first sort of write-up for the BBC Sport about us. And everything that's gone on has been done with love from people that care. So the hierarchy, they have the problem. I don't have a problem. I don't. I'm happy, very happy.
Yeah.
You mentioned then just about being called unofficial. Do you think that's something that could be changed in the future and you can be recognised? And is that a sort of aim for you, or are you happy with where you are now?
I'm trying to correct people not to say it. And it actually came from, I went for a holiday to the Baltics, and I managed to meet the girl that scored the hat-trick in the final, Suzanne Augustessen. And the Danish girls, they won the World Cup, but they were treated just as badly as we were. And they will not use the word unofficial because of that discrediting way about it. So they just say before FIFA, and it made me realise, yeah. I mean, I've even half apologised and gone, oh well, yeah, sorry, I was unofficial. Well, why am I sorry? Why am I sorry? Yeah, don't make me feel like that. So, yeah, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Chris there with the official and unofficial tag it's had. Yeah, before any official side was put together. So how can we be unofficial? We were just representing our country out there as a team. Yeah, and before FIFA even stepped in. So yeah, that is a term that we want a drop really, because it's not correct.
And with the 2025 Women's Euros coming up this summer, are you going to be watching out in Switzerland, or are you going to be watching on your TV?
Afraid I can't afford to go out there, so it's going to be on. Yeah, but nonetheless, supporting them for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll be watching on TV, but we'll be coming up. I've spoken to Gill about it, and we're going up to London and going to some of the fan zones, Baller FC, who normally get together big events in Shoreditch area, etc. So yeah, we'll probably try and turn up and get the vibe.
Yeah,
Sort of,
sure.
yeah.